get right into it. The first game we're going to talk about is the Rams and the Packers. I stuck to my guns on Friday and said the Rams were going to win this football game. And, did I really believe that? Maybe not. But I was all the way in, so I just rolled with it. But the Packers were able to edge them out and get that win. I just thought, Aaron Rodgers was dealing. Point blank, period. Just obviously he's going to be MVP of this league for a reason. He went out there and just wheeled and dealed, and they were able to get good offense going. My thing with the Rams side of the ball is I think the defense played good in spots, but for the most part, just let up a lot of big plays. And Aaron Rodgers is so good; he's going to take advantage of that. And the other thing is, Jared Goff obviously didn't have a lot of yards, but I don't even really think he necessarily played that bad. 21 for 27. That's pretty efficient.
That's with a broken thumb, torn ligament, whatever the fuck he's got going on in his throwing hand. But, he did play a good game.
I think right now, I just watched Jared Goff and whatnot. To me, it just seems kind of like a confidence thing and whatnot. Didn't have too great of a year.
He did. He got benched for Wolford the week before. Mental might not have been there.
Mental might not have been there all the way, and that's for sure. And that's a thing where, if you're about to go to Lambeau and play the Packers and you're not on your A game like that, you're going to lose that football game. And that's exactly what happened. They took advantage of that. You see
that one play, dude. You see Aaron Rodgers run it in. He pump fake, take it in. Dude, looking like a 22-year-old boy, just out there. Obviously, the MVP of the season at this point. So hyped. Sure. Love seeing it. Hyped to see them play next week. But, this game, honestly, the Rams are just too injured on that defense. Aaron Donald was in and out of there. Jared Goff has his hand problems. But they still kind of stayed in there. 32-18, but it felt a lot closer than that, honestly.
It did.
But at the end of the day, Packers dominated them boys. All right, more passing yards, more rushing yards, more first downs, more third down conversions, less sacks, less punts, and 8 more minutes of possession. Literally every facet of the game, Packers just dominated the Rams.
Packers just did the damn thing. At this point in time, the Packers feel, depending on what's going to happen with the Chiefs, the Packers feel like the best team in football right now. And
it's just you get that vibe, dude. They got it going on down there. They're on the run.
Aaron Rodgers is dealing. He's on fire. And obviously they're going to get another home game next week about Tampa. And that'll be another matchup for the absolute ages. The fact that we can say Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers in a conference championship, I didn't think we'd ever be able to say that. But if the Packers just keep doing what they're doing, man, they're going to be tough to beat. But hey, I got to give some props to the Rams too. They had a real shaky season. But I kind of stuck with it. I think it's a good football team. The only thing going forward with them is they're not going to have a lot of cap space. I think they're the fifth least. So they're going to have to figure out maybe some contracts or whatnot. And hopefully, like I said, Goff can maybe get some of that confidence back and come out next season. I think they need to get a little faster in the receiving core. I think that kind of hurt them a lot. But I think they got a good running back and Akers to go forward. And like you said, they got some pretty good defensive pieces to build on. But, shout out to Aaron Rodgers, man. Just went out there and just dealing, bro. Just throwing tugs on dude. Devontae Adams ate up. So that was a fun little game to watch, man. Shout out to Green Bay for doing the damn thing. Going to move on to the next game here, though. We got some Baltimore Ravens in the Bills game. Now, I told you, this was either going to be a 30-40 game, or we were going to see what we saw that 17-3. And here's my take. I'm not going to say so much as obviously the Bills are great. And they need to be acknowledged for being a very good football team. Obviously, I think they have flaws, the Bills do, but they're just so well coached and have such good playmakers. They're just able to win. They literally would have won 12 games in a row if it wasn't for that Hail Mary. Kyler Murray went on. But here's my thing, man. I got to talk about the Ravens real quick, and I've been kind of saying this all year, especially, we're talking about Kyler Murray. It's kind of the same argument with Lamar Jackson. Obviously, he got his first playoff win last week, and I know he's still young, so he's going to be around for a while. But I think to win football games and to make deep playoff runs, you got to be able to throw the football. And I just don't think Lamar Jackson at this point in time is capable of sitting back in the pocket and making those pinpoint throws that he needs to. Now, granted, with a lot of that, I think besides A.J. Brown and Mark Andrews, the receiving their receiving core ain't really worth about much.
That's kind of my argument that I'm going to make against you there. I mean, Lamar Jackson is an absolute freak in the open field and in the run game. And that's kind of what he's known for. But I do think in his fourth year, he's improved so much in that passing game, and he has been able to make passes.
Not enough.
But I think that Ravens scheme just tailors their running. I mean, they had Edwards, what's that other Joe Schmo in there? J.K. Dobbins up here. It's called him a Joe Schmo. And Lamar. I mean, just between the three of them, like your game plan is going to be tailored to run, especially without that, star receiver. Dez came back, didn't really do a whole lot. Got his first throw up the X. Shout out Dez Bryant. But, I don't know. The Ravens just got to switch something up. I think you're right.
Because I think that, the thing they're doing right now. I don't
think Lamar's an issue at all.
They're going to be great in the regular season. I mean, Lamar Jackson is literally Mike Vick 2.0, and Mike Vick never won anything. I just don't think that style of play is going to win you football games when it really comes down to it. Right. I just, during the regular season, obviously, yeah, he's going to put up insane numbers. Like you say, he's going to have a couple 1,000 yards passing, 1,000-yard rushing. It's going to be great. He's going to be in MVP talks. Same thing I said with Kyler Murray. There was about a 6-week stretch where Kyler Murray we thought was potentially going to be in that MVP race, and I think it just gets to a point when you get into these deep playoff runs, you need to be able to make, huge plays downfield. Now, like I said, granted, too, he has gotten a lot better and it has improved, and they obviously need to get better in the receiving core.
I want to see like a deep ball go route, 4-2 at the draft type guy go to Baltimore. I think that would change them up so much.
I think that's what they need, and I think that's something. That's what I'm saying. Lamar Jackson can obviously make those plays with his feet and on the ground, but I think to beat the Patrick Mahomes and to beat the Josh Allens and those type of players, you need to be able to throw the ball. You need to be able to put up 300 passing yards to be able to get that job done.
I don't think he did that once this year. That's not checked, but I don't think he capped that.
And, especially against teams that have great rushing defenses, you're going to need to be able to expand on what they're doing. Like I said, that's an 11-5 football team the whole way. They're going to be great. They're going to put up numbers. It's going to be flashy. It's going to be a show. But we need to be able to grit and grind and get these playoff wins. But, and they got rid of a couple of guys, the past couple days since that game. They're changing things around with the roster. I do think definitely the biggest one, the receiving core, is their biggest weakness at this point. They need to address. But I think they're right
figured out at this point. I mean,
yeah, and on the other side of the ball, Buffalo Bills. Shout out to Bills Mafia. It's awesome to see them advance to the AFC Championship. And like I said,
boy, they packed some suckers. They packed some sardines into that game, dude. I was looking around. I was like, whoa.
There's going to be some tables getting broken. But there's those white lawn tables that are broken all across America with that win Sunday. But like I said, the Bills obviously, have some flaws. It's not a perfect football team, but man, they just look good. They look complete. Great coaching. Josh Allen is a beast. Receiving core. They just got it all. Like I said, the defense, obviously they play really, really good in Baltimore, but the defense knows how to pick their spots when to hold it down, and that's essentially really all you need. So big shout out to Buffalo, man, Josh Allen and the crew for getting that dub over Baltimore. Looking forward to them playing in the Chiefs. So that was hype to see. Good for them.
I mean, the weather just affected that game so much. I mean, I think that's why the score was so low.
Yeah.
But I mean, when was the last time you ever saw Justin Tucker miss 2 kicks in the same game? Like, dude's literally a robot, and he made 1 out of 3 there, but that was crazy. Like, he don't miss like that. And Lamar obviously goes down with the injury, so.
Yeah, no, that's facts. But speaking of the Kansas City Chiefs, going to talk about Kansas City Chiefs versus Cleveland Browns. And hey, here's my thing with this. I feel like Patrick Mahomes goes out obviously with about 8 minutes left to play in the third quarter, I think it was. And I don't know exactly how much they were down at that point. It got to a point where it was about 22-17. And it got to a point where it was about 4 or 5 minutes left in the fourth quarter. And I thought, hey, you know what? Chad Henne in the game. This is his first time ever in a playoff game. Obviously a veteran of this league. He's been around the way before. But I thought this was Baker Mayfield's game to win. I thought with that 4 or 5 minutes left, this would have been the perfect time for Baker. He had plenty of time to go march down the field and get this dub. The minute Patrick Mahomes went out, I said to myself, like, this is over. Browns are going to win this football game. But obviously not blaming the whole thing on Baker Mayfield. I'm just saying that I think if Baker was to prove he belongs in that conversation of an A-tier quarterback, it would have been that game. But give credit to the Chiefs defense for being able to hold it down with such a. All they would have needed was a touchdown, and I really thought Baker and the crew was going to be able to march down and get that. But hey, big shout out Chad Henne, man. Came in,
legend came in there, and then it was
a really nasty pick, but held it down, bro.
No, he played a great game. I mean, Chad Henne got it done. It was just like what was it, week 17 or 18? Excuse me. They played him just to sit Patty Mahomes, and he just came in, fired a rifle down the field, and they did the same thing in this game when he came in. He completed both those passes. It just got the game done for him. So I mean, shout out. But on the Browns side, the Browns had a hell of a season. They improved so much. Just in such a short little amount of time, they've been able to establish that run game between Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt just be catching balls out the backfield and running all the way up the field. Nick Chubb breaking out all season long. I mean, the Browns had a great season, and they are officially accomplished at this point. I mean, same old Browns. People be saying, you can't say that anymore.
Browns are on the up and up for sure. But that's one thing, Big, you said, Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb. Browns came out the gate and were running football pretty well. And I feel like second half, they just completely abandoned that game plan for some reason.
I mean, they started to get down like in score, and then it's just they need points fast. So you're obviously going to try to throw the ball. But you're 100% right. I mean, that's what worked for them all year. They rode those running backs to so many victories. It's kind of crazy they didn't here. I mean, obviously, there was that insane fumble to touchback instead of touchdown with T. Higgins.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Clearly a helmet-to-helmet contact. Everybody at home saw it. You could hear it. And the only thing that I just think is fishy about that is, I'm not making excuses or anything, but couldn't review the helmet-to-helmet, but they reviewed the play because it was a touchback. So, I mean, clearly if you're watching the review for that to see if it was a touchback or not, you can clearly see that was helmet-to-helmet contact.
Yeah, I agree. I think he got away with it because there is a bit more leeway on the goal line just when it comes to helmet-to-helmet, just because guys are getting down low. I mean, it happens a bit more on the goal line. But, I mean, you are right. That could have been called, helmet-to-helmet, and then,
I probably changed the course of the game.
Say it again.
So that might have changed the course of the game if it did.
I mean, that's a touchdown. The game ended 22-17 Browns. I mean, there's that touchdown they didn't get when they went three and out that last drive. So you're right. I mean, that's a game decision call. But, I mean, that rule has been in effect forever. I mean, your boy Rich Eisen hates that rule. You look up any media about Rich Eisen talking about that, he pops off. But, I mean, it's happened before, and that's just what the rule is. But it's crazy, yeah. That's a game-changing call.
Yeah, I mean, it really is, and it's unfortunate. But, you just touched on a little bit. Hey, the Browns are going to be all right. They're on and up. I think they found themselves this year. I think they got the coach right. They established themselves as a great running team.
As long as Baker Mayfield doesn't play worse than he did this season. Like, if he plays the same or gets any better, they're going to be great again.
Yeah, no, I mean, they have the Pro Football has them at the best offensive line, and that's one of the most important parts of your football team. And like I said, Stefanski seems like he's the guy.
Survived COVID, shout out, dude.
Baker looked good this year. They obviously have great offensive weapons. Need a couple more pieces, I think, on defense. I think they're lacking a little bit in the linebacker department. But hey, man, like I said, it got to a point in this game where I was like, when Mahomes went out, I was like, the Browns are going to fucking win.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Awesome. But with Mahomes obviously going out with a concussion protocol, taking a little bit of a bump. He didn't really hit his head or anything like that, anything bad.
As of today, all the reports they were saying they're trying to pinpoint it not as a concussion, because to get out of concussion protocol in the NFL, it's this insane amount of steps you got to take, and it's just most likely not going to happen before the game. So they're trying to say it's some sort of pinched nerve or something in his neck. I don't think there's an actual report on that out yet on Tuesday today, but I mean, that's just insane, bro. I mean, do the Chiefs win next week without Patrick Mahomes, dude? That's the question.
No, no way. I don't think there's any way he misses, though. They'll figure it out. They'll put him on. I'm sure Patrick Mahomes would just do whatever it takes to go play that game. I do not think they beat the Bills if Patrick Mahomes isn't there. But
do you think they beat the Bills with him there?
Oh, yeah, all day. I'm not betting against Patrick Mahomes. Now, obviously, the Browns kept it close and whatnot, so I could see where that could sway people the other way.
But I think the Bills are better than the Browns.
No, yeah, that's for sure. And no shit. So,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think it's gonna be a good game.
I think people need to realize the Chiefs hadn't played or Patrick Mahomes hadn't played a game of football in about 3 weeks. And obviously the last game of the season, they sat their starters, and then they obviously had the bye week off for being the number 1 seed. So I think that was the perfect game for them to go back out there and get loose again, discover them plays. Big shout out to Andy Reid, making that call and shit. Chad Henne out there, dude. That's the other thing with the Browns too. Stefanski made a really dumb challenge call. Which I think, if he would have saved that, there was another play down the line that I think was worth challenging more than that. But, hey, I got to give big props to the Cleveland Browns, man. Give big props to their fans for holding on all these years, man, to see them finally come around. I think they're going to be all right next year. I think they could come out on top of that division next year, depending on what happens in Pittsburgh. And obviously, the Bengals probably ain't going to be worth about shit. So, the Browns are going to be in an all right position, and like I said, now they got some experience in the playoffs. Baker's got a playoff win under his belt. They're going to be all right. So big shout out to them. And yeah, Kansas City side of things, obviously I did see some Shefty reports or something that he's not 100% ruled out right now. But it looks like he will be able to play Patrick Mahomes.
I mean, you're right. That's Patrick Mahomes. They're gonna figure it out.
They're gonna figure it out, dude. That's that's what I'm saying. That's the face of the NFL essentially right now. So they're gonna figure it out. And so I'm looking really forward to the Buffalo and the Kansas City matchup. So big shout out for Kansas City getting it done. All right, now last game we got on the menu, History Channel action. We had the Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus the New Orleans Saints, man. Probably the last time we'll see Drew Brees in a Saints uniform. And just real quick before we talk about the game, man, big shout out to Drew Brees, man. Just on the football side of things. I know over the off season this year, he kind of got himself into a little trouble saying some things, but I'm not here to talk about any of that. I want to talk about this man, what he accomplished on the football field. Obviously going to the Chargers, getting drafted by the Chargers, playing there a couple of years and being hurt, and then obviously signing over there with the Saints and just riding out a very successful career, him and Sean Payton down there in New Orleans. It's crazy to think they only got 1 championship out of it. That obviously
it is crazy.
Runs, a couple back-to-back NFC championship games. But Drew Brees right now, most passing yards of all time, this and that. He's got all the numbers. Obviously, first ballot Hall of Famer. We'll probably see him in some booth next year commentating on a game for sure, whether it's Monday night or whoever decides to pull up with that Brinks truck looking at it. So yeah, I mean, big shout out to him. It is kind of sad, he did kind of go out a little down bad, with the 3 picks and whatnot. Hate to see a legend go out like that, but
I mean, even this season, he had an incredible season, and then he had all that rib issue going on down too. So I mean, he was obviously compromised, with injury this season for sure.
Yeah, the rib incident, like I said, the arm just I don't think was ever there.
A little noodle action going on there, but like you said, I mean, just shout out like that signing to New Orleans from the Chargers. That's like one of the most like prolific free agency signings like in sports, like honestly. So
no, it really is
an absolute legend just in sports history.
Drew Brees is going to be a legend.
Tom Brady just kind of slapped his nuts on his face a little bit, dude.
Yeah, here's the thing. Let's talk about that for a minute. And this is my biggest takeaway from that is I think one of the reasons why Tom Brady is so great, why he is the GOAT, is because a game like this, Tom Brady realizes it's like, hey, I don't need to go out there. This doesn't need to be a 300, 400-yard game. I just need to go out there and we just need to not turn over the football.
Yep.
Let the defense do that thing. I thought it was a very, very good game from Tom Brady, actually. Obviously, like I said, he only threw for 199 yards. I say only, that's pretty decent, but they held on to the football and just did what they needed to do to win. But on the other side of things, that Buccaneers defense looked absolutely insane against the Saints. And like I said, everything we just said about Drew Brees, him just kind of looking off. But the Saints turned it on, man, and absolutely took advantage of the situation. Got a couple picks, fumble recovery, whatnot. Because it got to a point in the game, the first little bit of the game, obviously the Saints get a kick return. They're able to go down, and then the Bucs hold them to 3 points. And then a little bit later, it looks like the Saints ran a punt return back, but there was a block in the back call and whatnot. So the Bucs held them off where they needed to. The Bucs got some really, really good players in that secondary. Also, that man Devin White is asserting himself as probably one of the best linebackers coming up in football right now. He's obviously in his second year. I think he had like 11 tackles, 10 solo, had a forced fumble recovery, something like that. Just, man, absolutely ate up. Antoine Whitfield Jr. holding it down. We probably heard Sean Murphy Bunting's name probably during that game. But hey, that's good, man. That means he was making plays. They're talking about him. But shout out to him. Yeah. So I mean, hey, Tom Brady held it down. He did the thing. I'm not taking anything away from what Tom Brady does. Like I said, he came out and said, "Hey, I don't got to do much this game. We just got to not turn the ball over, let the defense do a thing." But that's going to be scary, man. Like I said, if the Saints can, or if the Bucs can do 90% of what they did right there to the Saints, I think they got a really good chance of beating Green Bay. And, we'll obviously get into that matchup more come Friday when we talk preview. But like I said, I'm personally not betting. As good as I think the Saints or the Green Bay Packers look, as great as Aaron Rodgers is dealing right now, I'm just not betting against Tom Brady. I can't do it. He proves me wrong every single time. I said going into this game, I think the Saints got the better roster and are going to pull it off. But Tom Brady just said, not today, Playboy, and just did the damn thing. And if they can, like I said, if they can look like that next week, if they can look like that, this ride out, they can fuck around and win a Super Bowl. I'm not sure.
Those teams, I mean, like, honestly, these final four left. I mean, obviously there's only four left, but early in the season, I mean, this is kind of what we thought we were going to get a little bit.
Yeah, I definitely thought we were going to see the Steelers in place of the Bills, but we obviously saw that unravel, and Buffalo just absolutely
Buffalo on one
ascend themselves into that conversation, and for 3-4 weeks in a row there, you could honestly say the Bills were the best team in football, and I wouldn't argue with you. But yeah, big shout out to Tampa Bay, man, getting it done. They're obviously going to go into Lambeau. And I heard people say, like, they're going into Lambeau, it's going to be cold. And I'm like, I think people forget Tom Brady played in New England for 20 years. So
Tom Brady knows the cold.
He knows that environment. I think he's going to be just fine. I think the team's going to be just fine. Like I said, if that defense can stay hot like it just did, they can beat the Green Bay Packers. But we'll obviously dissect that a little more going forward. So that being said, man, that's some NFL playoff action. Obviously, we're going to have more to talk about Friday. Only got 2 games left to decide who's getting that Super Bowl opportunity down here in Tampa Bay. All I know is, dude, it's Super Bowl weekend, dude. I'm pulling up to Raymond James. We going to get litty as a titty. I can tell you that, dude. We gonna fuck around with some tailgaters, COVID or not. Wear your mask. Have a good time. It takes everybody.
It takes all of us. It really does.
So that being said, man, we're going